And what's good, everybody? Welcome back to another freaking edition of Beat the Block Live. I am joined by the two esteemed, well, we got a third esteemed host who's on the way, but I got two of the esteemed hosts right now. We got Portland's own Trox. What's good?
What's going on? What's going on?
And we got Chicago's own Ill Brown. How you doing, man?
We in the building.
We're just showing off weapons over here, huh?
Yeah, really.
Actually, it's a Freddy glove, man. Let's see.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was the Wolverine or the Freddy.
That's definitely the Freddy.
That's the Freddy glove, man. I'll make
That's the acrylic nails.
This is how the girls' nails look now.
Exactly, that's the acrylics right there.
Exactly.
See Bufo on the beat on here. You know,
Bufo on the beat was good.
Shout out to Bufo.
Shout out to you, man.
He shows up every freaking time.
All the time. I love it.
I do.
Yep.
Bufo. We got to do something special for you, man. We're gonna lace you up with something, drum kit or something, bro. We're gonna take care of you.
Man, facts, big facts. Shit, man, I'm good. How's life treating us, man? I finally getting my car in the shop. I'm moving to Texas in a few weeks. It's gonna be amazing. I think this is the last stream with BeatStars for me before I move.
There you go.
Yeah,
right? A whole new place.
Yeah, next time you hop on, you'll be in Texas, bro.
Yep. I'll be in some AC. This house doesn't have no AC.
Bro, that shit blew my mind when I moved to the West Coast. I was like, wait, because I'm from Florida, right? And it's like, wait, you don't got AC in every building? I'm confused.
Like, that shit's supposed to be mandatory.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, this is non-negotiable, I thought. But no, not over here.
Man, we had an Airbnb. We were out there for some stuff when Noir season, man. We was doing a pop-up shop. And we got this fly Airbnb, right? Had zero air conditioning, man. We all went to like Walgreens and bought like 6 fans.
Yeah, unacceptable.
Didn't matter. Didn't even
That's
matter.
all bad.
Didn't even matter, man. We were out.
You were in Florida?
No, this was in Cali.
Oh, Cali, yeah.
But what was that, about I think it was 2018. It must have been, dude, like 105 every day.
Ugh.
It was just oppressive, man.
It's probably in the valley, too.
Oppressive heat.
Oh,
man. It was oppressive.
And our Airbnb was in the valley. Yep.
Yeah, they try and say to just like open the windows at night, but it's like, what about the day, fam? That's when it's hot.
That's when it's hot, fam. I can deal at the nighttime.
Exactly. Yo, everyone in the comments, say what's up. We love chatting with you guys. We got Candy.
Hey,
can y'all hear me?
It's not complete without you, Candy.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
What's good, sis?
What's up?
Fresno CA is no joke. That's correct.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm out there.
Oh, yeah.
No thanks.
Shit, I'm moving to San Antonio. Oh.
It'll be toasty.
It's going to be hot. It's going to be 100 every day there in the summer.
That's what they make a paste picante salsa.
Yes, they do.
No,
man, now that Candy hopped in, everyone's popping up in the comments. The queen is here. That's right, Big Bro Beats.
That's right.
That's
correct.
That's what they was waiting for. That's what they was waiting for. You know, we chop liver. Yeah,
that's
they
right.
like, dude, with this busted ass ponytail. Get him up out of here.
This ugly ass white dude. You know what I'm saying?
2 ugly ass white dudes.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
we got Daz 1 in here. We got Big Bro Beats in here. M Burks 10. Brave Boy.
He's first time in his live. Okay, man, we're gonna make sure you get the most out of this experience, man. Shout out to you, bro.
That's right.
So I'm like trying to get on Twitch so I can comment with everyone.
Yeah, everyone feel free to comment. The hosts are going to be in there as well in the Twitch, so definitely say what's up as y'all are doing.
By the way, can I make an announcement, man?
Hit us.
Man,
what do you
shout
got?
out. Okay, I just dropped a new record with my dude Ito.
Hey,
upstate New York, Rochester. You know what I'm saying? It's a album called Ito Brigante. It's basically he's reenacting Carlito's Way in an album, and I got the Laline scene. So Check out La Lean Scene by Ito, E-T-O, Ito. Produced by your boy,
dope.
man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It definitely is, man. I had the record since November. I'm glad it's finally out.
Ito's the name of the record?
Ito's the artist.
The artist, right.
And the album is called Ito Brigante.
Ito Brigante. Ah, yeah, I got you. All right, gang, we're gonna check this out in the comments here. I got the Spotify. Go check that out right now. Everywhere else as well. But that's the thing I had most handily available.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I was gonna get the Bandcamp link too.
Yeah, hit me with that. We'll post that too. Yeah, definitely go check that out, guys. All their music is so good. I was listening to Will's. I was just saying right before the stream. So Will's got a record called Return to the Hardcore, and he has this line in one of the songs that was like, "Push your wig back like the hairband did to Braun or something."
Yeah,
I literally had to pause because I was laughing so hard, bro.
Hey, don't sleep on Il Brown as a rapper, man. Il Brown got bars.
He's got fucking bars. So good.
I do all right, man. You know. Hey, I got that on vinyl too, man.
He being modest.
I'll make sure I put that link in there for y'all to go cop that vinyl.
100%.
Rare. It's only 100 copies, man, and a bunch of them are already gone. So, got to make sure I put that link in there for y'all to go and get that rare art.
Limited edition.
Yes, sir. The artwork is crazy too. I think y'all will dig it. So, go and check that out. You know, and start some rap beef with me, man. Let's get it.
Yeah.
No doubt.
100%. So today we're here to discuss the latest episode of Beat the Block, which is the founder of Girls Make Beats, Tiffany Miranda. Yes, absolutely.
Shout out to her.
Shout out to her, big time. Her organization, Girls Make Beats. Y'all should check that out too. It's a super dope organization where they help young women get into producing, engineering, etc. Super awesome organization. I'm going to share that in the chat here as well. If you're looking for places to donate, it's a good one. So first off, before we dive in, what were some of y'all's kind of favorite parts, highlights from this conversation?
For me, it was like that teachable moment she had when she was called to engineer, and then she had to rewire the studio, but it didn't quite work in enough time. She couldn't quite figure it out. And no one talks about those moments. Everyone comes in with their game face. All of the peers and friends in the industry, everybody try to have that like they got it all figured out. But no one ever really talks about those moments where it was a failure or it was a teachable moment or an embarrassing moment that they really had to go back and rethink, readjust, and get back on their shit. Like nobody really goes there. And so I think that we've all had them. I'm pretty sure we did. I mean, kudos to who hasn't, but if this is your life, then you have those moments. So it was cool for her to share that and then share how she overcame that particular moment. Because when you're young and you're doing it and then something goes wrong, and if someone tells you that's wrong or I'm not, going to work with you, or, luckily, I mean, she got a chance to work with that person again. They didn't really take it that hard. But those are moments where people actually, they may not ever come back to it. They might say, I suck and I'm done. But, I think the real people that are meant to do it, they go back and they say, well, if I don't actually learn whatever I need to know, then I'll never move forward. And they go back and learn what they need to know. So yeah, shout out to her for sharing that moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just one of those things where it's like, you shoot your shot, you miss your shot, you're going to get back up to make another shot.
Grab that board. You know what I'm saying? Grab that board, get a putback. I thought it was dope, man. Myself being a fellow engineer, and I've been there before. Everybody records different in the studio, and there was a moment where, like, one of her first big gigs, she was talking about how she wasn't fast enough for when she was tracking the guitar players, and she was like, I went and studied all the quick keys, made sure I was ready when I came back the next day. So, and it helped her secure the gig going forward. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those dope moments that just because you don't know something right then and there, that doesn't have to be, you know, something permanent or constant. You know what I mean? Like, go right back in the lab, man. You know, help you work on your weak areas. You know what I mean? And also, everybody's different, you know, in the studio, man. Everybody has different work habits in the studio, stuff like that. So, I mean, you have sessions where it's easy. You know, you sit there, press the 3 button, put the auto tune on, and take a nap. Like I do pretty often. But and then you got some sessions where it's real work. You know what I mean? I got sessions that sometimes it looks like I'm typing a damn dissertation or something. You know, I'm doing that many quick commands, so it could get real. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was one of my favorite parts. But let's get into this episode, man, so y'all can get some of these gems.
100%. All right, let's do it. Let me go ahead and pull it up. So yeah, basically what we're going to do is we're going to have a transcript and we're going to listen to a few different parts. But definitely feel free to keep hitting us up in the comments. You know, we'll pause and kind of speak on it. And if you have any questions, that kind of thing, the host will be picking those out. So definitely keep chatting with us. All right. Share screen. Boom, boom, boom. Hold on.
Brandon Montefiusco, 17-year vet. Shout out to you, man. There's Piano. What up, man? We're getting that screen share for you guys in a second.
And there we are.
Speaking of Toby Swag Lab, you had a session with Cool and Dre and Pitbull. Mm-hmm. Describe what happened.
So basically, my sessions with them weren't actually at Toby Swag Labs. What happened was I was working at Toby Swag Labs and quickly became one of the top engineers there.
I remember first session, he was like, oh, speed up.
Like a big client was a guitar player from Aventura. He was a good bachata guitar player, but he was working very heavily with Mr. 305 Inc. So he was like, you know what, really dope. It was funny. My first experience with him wasn't so great. He was actually one of the ones that made me really push myself, because as a bachata player, like they're like doing these guitar riffs and you got to like track them really, really fast. So I remember our first session, he was like, oh, speed it up. You're too slow. And like the next day, I didn't sleep that night. I like studied every quick key I could, even while I was at work. And the next day when I went back for another session with him, I was so ready for him to the point where I was like, are you ready? Are you ready? And he was like, I like her. I want her to be my engineer. So he helped pick up to Mr. 305 Inc. because, like I said, he was doing a lot of work with them. And they had an artist named Fuego. Fuego also came in and worked with me at Sobe. And he was like, yo, you're so dope. Like, I want you to come be my engineer. And they hired me like up front for a year just to work on his project. And so I ended up at Mr. 305 Inc. And while I was there, just, kind of, how the world works is kind of a snowball effect. So I used to sing hooks for Cool and Dre when I was like 15, 16, then kind of lost connection with them. And then when I got into engineering, my mom was at the gym or something and found out, like, was talking with somebody. She's like really social. And she was like, they were like, oh yeah. And she was like, my daughter sings and she engineers and does all this stuff. I'm like, oh, my cousins are Cool and Dre. And she's like, what? Like, she used to work with them. So we got reconnected again. And then they were like, oh, so, I heard you're engineering now, like you over at Pit Spot, like, are you any good? And I was like, I can show you better than I can tell you. So I was like, let's go. So we did a session. They were really impressed. So much so that Dre ended up making me his personal engineer for about 6 months or so. And in working with Dre, I had the opportunity, and at a Cool and Dre studio record room, I was able to engineer for like Fat Joe. And then Dre would call me over to Khaled's spot, because Khaled also had a studio, We the Best Studios in Miami. And so I would go there, and then that kind of just organically turned into me tracking vocals for Khaled and Ace Hood. And eventually I got the call from Ross. He needed an engineer at his spot. So I started to work like the Miami scene and, really be able to grow my resume from there, Miami. And then in moving to LA, I've also engineered for French Montana, T.I., Uzi, plethora of guys out here. So it's been really dope.
Nice. It's funny how all that works.
Right.
So there's the first part there. Do we have any questions that popped up?
I have a comment.
Rolling?
Actually.
Yeah, go for it.
When she said, she answered the question like, I can show you better than I can tell you. I adopted that. I stole that. I stole that comment. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm like, that is the perfect response.
It is
to be offered an opportunity, because that forces them to give you a chance. You know what I'm saying? Like, if anybody asks you if you're good at something, you know, just go with that answer. You know what I'm saying? Just say, I can show you better than I can tell you.
I agree. I'm looking at all of the comments. So what she basically explained too is how this whole industry kind of works. Like, everything leads to the next opportunity, and you're only as good as your last opportunity. So that's one thing to keep in mind. So the goal is to build as much as possible and work with as many people as possible, because it's like a pyramid. You work with one person, it leads you to the next, and it leads you to the next. So that's how she's living the dream. I know someone that said, you know, it's not impossible. Literally, all you need is one good referral that can open up 5 doors.
No question.
100%.
No question. And she alluded to the snowball effect. Like, this industry is about momentum, like, and capitalizing off of, you know what I mean, whatever your most recent win is, you have to ride that wave. You know what I'm saying? So you get one opportunity. Word travels fast. The industry is small. It seems like it's not small, but when you start, you know, moving up, it's always levels to everything. When you start moving up, you realize how small the music industry is, and people start talking. Your name gets out really fast, and the inquiries almost come like, you know, like a snowball effect. So you have to be ready to work a lot and in spurts. You know what I mean? So it's always a hot new name, always something like that. But once you establish yourself, you're in there for good. You know what I mean? People will always seek you out. So you definitely have to work toward that, those opportunities for sure.
Do any of you guys have like a good like snowballs thing where, like, you know, you did something and then something totally unexpected happened just by, you know, doing good work?
What story can I tell?
I'm sure you got many.
Let me think about this one.
Yeah. How about you, Will Candy?
I got a bunch. Actually, the way I got my first placement was right place at the right time. My first major placement. Shout out to this thing the music industry has called ghost producing, but the check cleared. So I'll get into it real quick. Just being in the right place at the right time. We're in Atlanta at the time. Early 2000s. One of my partners was actually DJ Drama's road manager, and he was working heavily with the affiliates. That's DJ Drama and Don Cannon's. I think it was like a management thing they were doing at the time, and they had artists like Willie the Kid. They were responsible for pretty much starting off Dom Kennedy and a bunch of artists of that nature. And at the time, Def Jam was trying to get Thug Motivation 101 together for Young Jeezy. And he's pretty much in the stages of wrapping up the album. And they're looking for something soulful. And for some reason, Don keeps playing trap beat after trap beat after trap beat. And it's just, you know, Jeezy's like, it's not it, it's not it, it's not it. I'm in Studio B at the time, just, you know, just cooking up, you know what I mean? And you know, if you know Atlanta, everybody knows Patchwork. You know what I mean? So we're in Patchwork, cooking up Studio B, and they walk past and stick their head in the door. It's like, yo, what's that? And I happen to be chopping up this impression sample, which will go on to be Go Crazy. And then Jay-Z will hop on the remix, and those were some very nice checks, and the music industry will never pay you like that again.
Wow.
Yep.
Not through those channels anyway. Not through just one beat, and next thing you know, check shows up in the mail, or they wire you, you know, anywhere from $10,000 to $80,000 right away. So
I miss those days.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't think it'll ever go back to that. Like, you know what I mean? The way music is consumed now is just totally different. You know what I mean? Like,
definitely.
You know, the internet, you know, once streaming came into play, they found a way to play artists and producers pennies on a dollar. So, you know, that's why, you know, I always stress every week, every episode, you know what I mean? Ownership. Ownership is key. Own your threats. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Own your threats. Build your fan bases. You don't need a whole lot of fans to make a whole lot of money. I know a lot of artists that you guys have probably never heard of that do music full time for a living, and they're thriving off probably 200 fans and up. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's one of those
loyal
things.
Fan base.
Yeah, you find your niche and you work it. You know what I mean? And more and more people start to see the value of what you do. But definitely, you know, you can start there. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Okay, I got a story for y'all.
Yeah.
All right, so shout out to my man Jay Pender, Seattle dude, lives in LA now. I did a song with him called "Life Is Simple Part.1." It got a lot of buzz. It got a lot of press, actually. This is during the 2012 mixtape era, so you know, obviously, it wasn't really a paying song, but you know, it was a good song, and I was proud of it. His manager at the time was a guy named Taheem Cannon. And for those that don't know, Taheem Cannon ended up becoming the A&R at Aftermath. So months later, Taheem got the job, and then Ty was like, "Yo, I'm a fan. Please send me some things for Dre." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I send him folder after folder after folder. Eventually, I get into Dre's studio and prove my worth there. And you know, now my name is just known in that circle. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm liable every time I'm in LA. I'm liable to be at Dre's any given day.
Yes, sir.
Wow. That's a good one. Candy, you got anything to share before we hop into this next section?
I think everybody I'm that everyone knows me for everything.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Yeah.
I don't have a particular way of one song or beat. It's like, oh, she does that too. I'm trying to narrow it down to a focus point, but it's always been about everything.
For sure.
You know, like, you don't know Candy? Like, how do you not know Candy? And then
she does this and this?
Right.
And this?
I don't know. It's kind of weird and unique, but you know, it is what it is.
For sure. For sure.
Absolutely.
All right. Cool.
But the whole point that we're trying to say is everything snowball. So just make it good, as good as possible. Try to, you know.
We got a question in here.
Yeah.
From Ember X10. What are y'all thoughts on networking and producing, and are they tied together in a big way?
Yes.
100%.
Yes, and yes.
You have to move with strategy, and you have to network your butt off. It is all networking. It's all relationships. If you can produce and then you can, it depends on what you're trying to do. So, but everything eventually is all about relationships. But, you know, you can even online, like we're up here building, and I'd say we've been consistent with the same community. Everyone can ask questions. People will know when people drop music on BeatStars. So, I mean, yeah, even online it is. Offline, when we were all moving around physically and moving from conference to conference or industry event to industry event, that's how, you know, I started meeting a lot of people. And then it became like a community, just like this is a community, and it's networking. And then once you drop a project and it's dope, then everybody's gonna know that was you that did it, and then it'll lead to like the next level of people, and then that leads to the next level. So if you listen to like Charity's episode of Beat the Block, she talks about networking when she was in Dr. Dre's studio and just even using strategy and things in common, because you don't always have to hit up somebody and be like, you know, about music, but it's just like, I'm a fan of yours, and then find something else that's relatable and genuinely build a relationship, because you may not be able to work with that person for years to come, but then they know who you are and it'll come up later. You know, it's just like planting the seed.
There you go.
Just plant as many seeds as possible. Absolutely. Make sure it's on fertile ground. Make sure the foundation is good. You're on your stuff. And then once the opportunity comes, just be ready.
And make sure your fertilizer is funky.
Hell yeah.
Fertilizer is the music, baby. That's all we say.
Yeah. I ain't even thought of it like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Analogies on analogies.
Il Brown always comes with the fire analogies, man. He really does.
Yes.
Europe.
Let's see here. Bufo says sometimes it's not about what you know, but who you know. And this is actually, you know what? It's funny. My man Knots once said, man, it's who you know to get in and what you know to stay in.
There you go. That's how you add value. The what you know is the value. Who you know is gives you the opportunity to, you know, get your value seen. You know what I'm saying? So,
indeed.
Without networking, you cannot survive in this business. Even on and you know, I want to make an emphasis to, and this is more for the BeatStars community and, you know, navigating the marketplace and selling beats. How many of you guys have thought to do an artist search on BeatStars? You know what I mean? We get a lot of questions. How I sell beats? Well, who buys beats? You're more likely to sell your beats to an artist than to another producer. Like, another producer's going to be like, the hell out of my inbox. I make beats. So
I'm telling you, I'm getting them messages. I just got like one yesterday. I'm like, why would I want to buy somebody else's beats?
Right. Unless I can use them as my own.
Sell them my brand
with the Dracula.
That's scumbag shit. You don't want to do that.
Exactly. So no, we don't roll like that. So do an artist search on BeatStars. You'd be surprised what names pop up in your search. So definitely do an artist search on the BeatStars marketplace. You know what I mean? Like, you'd be like, holy cow, I didn't even know that this person was on there looking for beats. Send them a message. Send them some of your best fire. Work out somewhere. You know, you add value. Maybe you say, hey, I just want to work. Maybe you give them a freebie off the rip. You know what I mean? And build that relationship. Or you'd be surprised how many up-and-coming artists are on the BeatStars marketplace. Like, I just scroll. Sometimes I'll hop on BeatStars and just scroll the what's trending, and it'd be people popping up that you never even thought was on BeatStars. Like I saw Static Select had uploaded some new stuff. Yep. And I'm like, yo, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So just when you think nobody's on there and there's nobody to market to, you're wrong. Gotta get creative. You know what I'm saying? Just thought that I'd put that out there for everybody's trying to make get that bag up on the marketplace, y'all. Let's get to it.
Definitely.
100%. And I'm sure that like you three actually have like a unique sound and style. So if you could find those artists that's like, okay, this would fit really well with them, I'm sure that goes even further.
Yeah, indeed.
Facts.
Awesome.
Shout out to
All
Roast
right.
Review. They just rated the chat. That's what's up.
Hey,
and them.
what is that? I don't know what that
rate
is.
the chat when you like end your stream, and then you send everybody to another channel. That's what it is.
Let's go.
Yeah, shout out to KO. You know what I'm saying? Fun time.
What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Oh, wow, everybody. Hey, what up? Hey, y'all got to check. Make sure y'all check Roasted Review. It's always a good time. You know what I'm saying? What's good, everybody?
What's up?
Yeah, we
I'm
just
trying to see
there dropping gems.
I'll post this kombucha for y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's not Hennessy this time. I'm sober.
Hey, man,
check in next episode.
Don't let Trox see y'all off, man. That kombucha get your stomach going crazy.
It's for your gut. It's for the health of your gut. Okay.
Yo, a lot of them they still have the ID. You still got an ID for it.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
I've seen a ton. I don't know. I haven't seen it lately, but I've seen it a bunch before.
They got
buy fucking kombucha.
Yeah. Kombucha, man, your stomach feeling like somebody shoot you.
Kombucha have your stomach crip walking.
Oh man.
Not just any regular crip walk, it's the Dub C crip walk. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow. Break it all the way down. Break it all the way down, huh?
Be looking like the Cali is active video.
Yeah, but you guys, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna get to the next segment, but y'all, hey, everybody that's in the chat, y'all hit us with some questions. Y'all got any questions, make sure y'all go subscribe. The link is plentifully posted inside of the chat. If you scroll up, we'll post it again. There it is. Make sure you guys subscribe, man. We appreciate you guys. Yo, this is overwhelming. We appreciate the love.
One. The shadiest one. Yeah, you already know. Brings back to my childhood.
Perfect. All right, so we're gonna hop into this next section here. For everyone just joining, we hop into these segments, we take a listen, and then we discuss it. So make sure to check out that link that we just dropped in there. You can subscribe to the show and listen to the whole episode. Let's get into it.
You dig.
We're gonna start off. We're gonna go back to your childhood. Well, at the age of 15, you had a meeting with Pitbull and Uncle Luke, and those initial meetings, led to you basically changing your life. Can you tell us what happened? Like you said, that was like with Luke, your initial contract offer. Tell us like how things even came about.
So rewind even a little bit ahead of that, I started singing when I was 11 years old and found out that I could sing on a field trip on a school bus, and we were all taking turns singing. And every time they got to me and my friend, they were like, "Man, y'all sound good. Like, you should sing again." So every time they would see me in the hallways, they'd be like, "She could sing something." And I remember like in the middle of classes, like, just singing, and, a whole group would crowd around. And I just loved the feeling of being able to, inspire people with my voice and create a vibe. So I really fell in love with singing at age 11 and, started honing my skills. And at 15, my mom started to manage my career. And we were offered our very first contract by Uncle Luke, who had Luke Records at the time. And I recall walking into the office and there was a young Cuban guy there by the name of Pitbull. And Pitbull, I didn't wind up signing the contract with Luke, but Pitbull was signed to Luke. And Pitbull saw very early on a lot of potential in me. And so he would take me around to different recording studios. He would come to like my school talent shows and really was like a big brother to me. And I would sing hooks for him. And I was beginning to become exposed to the music industry and the actual recording studios. What I did find a lot of the times in the recording studios is it was mostly men. There were all a bunch of guys, a lot of times older guys that, were telling me as a young girl, what I should be singing, doing, wearing, putting out into the world, how I should be representing myself. And there was just always something very early on that just didn't click with me. I'm like, why is it that a grown man is telling me as a young woman who and what I should be? Like, where are the women? Like, why are there no female mentors in the room? So very early on, I was, starting to think that way. And then it also made me think differently about the artists that I love. At that time, I was listening to, Maya and, SWV and like all these, really dope women artists. But I started thinking, I'm like, well, is it really them? Or is it the same thing that I'm experiencing where it's like, a male driven vision, So, I continued to stick with music. It was, my passion and singing, and I would do talent shows and things like that. But I was starting to get really emotionally beat down by the industry and, also facing a lot of challenges being a young girl. And, there were certain men that I came across that tried to take advantage of their positions and, would do things that were like inappropriate or say things that were inappropriate and try to sell me a dream. But you have to do this if I'm going to do this for you type thing. And, I just thought it was so ugly. And I couldn't believe that God would give me a gift, that I wasn't supposed to share with the world, and have to deal with so much ugliness just to share like a beautiful gift that, was God given. So
I totally understand. We can definitely relate. It's super dominant, male driven. But I mean, I'm happy now that there are women like yourself and me and, others that I know that there's tons of women that do what we do, but it's just like, who's actually coming forward and using their selves to represent, you know what I'm saying, that space is just, I'm glad to see that it's more, but we need to normalize it, so.
Any thoughts from you guys on that last part there?
Of course.
Yeah.
Ladies first, I'm gonna let you speak.
So it's like said that women are only 7%, like represented 7% in the whole industry, in the industry of music.
Shame.
Which is crazy because I mean, like I know quite a few women that, but 7% of how many men, you know what I'm saying? So I still know a very small amount. Every guy, even I'm in a studio building, and when I get introduced to other producers in this building, they say, I've never met a female producer before. Or I've only seen one female producer before. Or, and she's right. I think what's great about what Tiffany did, pivoting, she still does her thing, but she started this organization because what I'm getting is a lot of women weren't introduced to it, so they never had exposure to it. So that's one thing. But then I'm like, well, how does guys get exposure to music production? Why? Because it's more women than men on earth, so they say, right? So how is it that men are introduced to music production before women if you're in a household with no musicians? That's a question for you guys that I'm asking because I want to know, like, how can you get exposed and I not get exposed to it?
That is a fantastic question.
Is it thought to be a masculine career off rip? Like, I don't know, because I grew up in a household of musicians. There were more men, obviously, that I've seen in my life that did more of the behind the boards, engineering and producing. Most women are in the booth. But still, I was introduced to it early. So I'm like, well, it was normal for me, but for other women, what's the difference? I don't know.
I got to think about that one.
Because that's like a huge thing. If everyone's exposed to it, do women think that they're not meant for it? Or
you know what? This is just something I think it's more of a societal problem, and it's unfortunate, because a lot of this work can be done by anyone of any gender. Like
it's creativity. It's just like a painter. What's the difference between?
Right, exactly. It's not like we're like, hey, go lift this 500-pound cinder block or something, where it's a physical strength thing. I get that. But anything other than that, like, hey, women are just as smart as we are. Women are just as creative as we are. Like
if not smarter.
In most cases,
we're the portal to life. We are.
I prefer a woman to speak up for me 10 times out of 10 because they are just flat out smarter than us guys. That's just facts.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Like, yeah, you know, just hey, it's our job to lift heavy shit and take out the trash. Let the women figure out all the other stuff out that requires actual thinking. We're dumb and simple.
Yeah,
so,
but we just need to normalize. We just need to normalize women making beats. You know what I'm saying? We can't just call them female producers anymore.
Yeah,
they're producers.
Like I never, you know, I actually have the luxury of knowing a lot of women who make beats, not female producers. Women who make beats, you know what I'm saying? And they're all dope. And I don't see them as, oh yeah, she's a girl and she make beats. No, she's a producer just like I'm a producer. She's dope. Absolutely. That's it. No, there's no, yeah, for a girl. And yeah, I hate when I hear stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, she's dope. You know, I think it's just BS.
Women are divided in everything though. It doesn't even matter. Like sports and corporate America is the same. But the reason why I'm asking about the exposure piece, because that plays a lot into the rarity of finding women that actually decided to produce music and actually make a career out of it. Because I'm like we've had other interviews where, you know, guys say they never seen a female producer or is for a man, and I'm like, well, what makes the difference? And how are men exposed to it before women, and why would they choose not to if they're exposed to it? It's just the pool doesn't make sense if you're thinking statistically about how the structure is on it. But I do see more women as artists than producers when we're in this realm of entertainment. You see more women that pursue the artist aspect of it or songwriting aspect of it. But I mean, I would say it's definitely, we do bring a different energy, and it has been super masculine over the past 2 decades where there was no balance. Yeah. And that's why that's one of the reasons why you had this, but we're coming back. So R&B is making its full comeback. Shout out to Brandy.
Brandy's Beyonce, amazing.
Yeah, and Beyonce for dropping, you know, we need that. I mean, even in other genres. I mean, when you listen to pop and electronic, there's female producers that are around really doing their thing in that too. But it's just crazy. So another thing I wanted to say about what Tiffany was saying in her environment. I mean, in every industry, people abuse power, but really, she exercised her power by, like, when we were interviewing her, she said something that stuck out to me, which was, I created a new environment. Like, she don't even care about being in the studio and behind the boards particularly anymore. She dedicated her energy into this organization, which is really grooming other women to do it. And she didn't even care. She was just like, I got out of the toxic environment and created my own environment to work in. And people are so afraid to do that because they think they have to stay and get the clout or the credit or whatever. But it's just like, nah, you can actually take another direction in this industry too, which could be super beneficial and be a different level. And but a lot of people try to boast upon what they've done. And some of them don't even get paid. I'm like, I don't want to talk about nothing that ain't paid me. So, like, I'm straight talking about it, but that's just me. So, and I would say what it has done, just like it does for female rappers, is created a culture where women won't support women either, because you want to be the only woman that's in the room. You know what I'm saying? And so I understood that, and I don't like that energy. So that's why I aim to get as many women on this podcast as possible that I can find that are willing. Like, we need you on the pod. If you got something good going on, if you're making your mark, then we need you on the pod to speak up and change that energy and change that. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely, like, you know, awareness is key. You know what I mean? And you know, and that's Candy made an excellent point. Everybody feels like there's not going to be enough food at the table.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, hey, if I'm the only person in the room, then I'll get all the opportunity. It's impossible for you to actually execute when all of the opportunities decide to come your way.
That's
so
true.
It's just not possible. So it's like, hey, you need to be empowering, other women as opposed to trying to be the only one to, receive these opportunities and stuff. So, shout out to Tiffany for saying, yo, like, I'm one of the hottest commodities, regardless of gender, doing this engineering and
purely skill.
And, just straight off skill. She's like that, y'all. For real. I'm still here to tell you, as a fellow engineer, she's like that. You've heard her work all the time, and that gender stuff is BS, man. She gets busy, and for her to set all of that aside to be like, I need to shed more light on the fact that there are women and girls that want to get into this, and that's where the awareness comes in. And it's always got to be trailblazers for everything, you know what I mean? So somebody has to blaze the trail to say, hey, there are women out here that are dope, and you guys need to know about them. And I'm glad on this podcast we're able to shed light on that. You know what I mean? That's big shout out to Candy for making sure that we stay on point with that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
100%. So we got another section that kind of piggybacks off of what we were just talking about. So we're going to go ahead and dive into that.
Okay. Are you still facing like challenges with dealing with that? I mean, you have a whole organization for girls. So when you walk in the studios or if you're working with people, and I know that you work with countless people, but do you still kind of face running into those issues?
I mean, I will say most of my life is now dedicated to the organization, like overtime and full-time, like overtime job. So luckily my experiences have like transitioned into a much more positive place. But again, the reason I created the organization is that very reason, is because when I would walk in as an individual, as a woman, it was very hard to be taken seriously. There were times where I go to beat battles and I look around the room and I'm like, there are no other girls here.
Sausage parties.
Seriously.
That's what I call them.
I'm like, where are the women? And shout out to, iStandard too, because they had me do a nice presentation about the organization in front of all those men and talk about how important it is to empower our girls, their daughters, sisters, mothers, whatever, and create a space for them to be comfortable too. I was just very fortunate, I think, in my skin that I had a strong support system, to help me get through that. So my mom, my sister, my dad, they were super supportive. And then I have two brothers. So I always was the one that wanted to like tag along with my big brother. So I was always around guys all the time anyway. And I wasn't really a tomboy, but I wasn't like super, quote unquote, girly, whatever that means. But I was already used to like hanging out with the guys all the time. So I was comfortable, but I know we do a lot of interviews with our girls ages, 7 to 17 across the US. We've done these interviews. And every time we ask the question to the girls, why do they think there are so few women? And it's always like, oh, well, because boys are thought to have been better, or we don't get the same opportunities. And I mean, this is in all different walks of life, all over the nation, girls that feel that this is the way the world interprets them because they're female. And it's crazy. And like, to me, I'm so passionate about helping to change that narrative.
And I thank you for that. Like, that is so important. I think it's important for you and I both. So kudos to Girls Make Beats, because I'm glad that I ran into you. Another question that I had is, how do you see the turnover with, well, here's another question, because you deal with a lot of young girls. And I think another big thing that we all face, even the guys that's on this podcast, is trying to start a career in music or even get exposed to it at a young age. You have your family members and friends and people you're surrounded by that aren't supportive, because it's not a traditional career.
Right.
It's just an activity, you know, it's just something to do when you're young. They don't see it as you actually growing it into a career and making money. So how do you deal with that when you deal with like the parents or, you know, even the girls as far as transitioning and making that a long-term career?
In my personal experience, again, I was super, privileged to have the support of my parents, but we have had, certain parents that kind of have their reservations about their child doing this as, for a living. And our most important thing to them really is, at the core of everything we do with our foundation, even though we are teaching production, we are teaching engineering, we are teaching DJing, the most important thing that we teach is life skills and confidence. So, the parents at the end of the day are always able to appreciate that, even if they're like, oh yeah, well, my daughter's just doing this for fun after school, but she's really going to go be a scientist or, whatever. As long as they're leaving with that core thing, we've done our job. If they decide, we've had little girls that joined our program that are, we have a 9-year-old, Mac 10, she's so cute. She was just doing an interview and they asked her, well, you're learning all these cool skills. You're learning how to be a DJ and a producer. What do you think you want to do with this when you grow up? And she literally all in one breath said, I'll probably DJ parties. And then when I grow up, I'll be the first female Black president of the United States.
That's confident.
So it's just instilling that mindset that you can do whatever you put your mind to, even if it was previously people who weren't your color or your gender or your age or whatever. Like breaking down those stigmas. And that's really the most important part of our job.
Facts. I love it. So how can people be better supporters and allies for your organization?
So there are different ways that you can get involved with our organization. If you have a young girl who's interested, we always have scholarship opportunities and things like that we're trying to provide for our girls. So you can go to girlsmakebeats.org/register to register them. Right now, we actually extended the age range. It was 7 to 17. Now it's 5 to 17. So we're implementing like a garage band curriculum for the younger girls. And if somebody's interested in volunteering, we have volunteering opportunities as well, mostly for live events and things like that when the world opens back up. But we are also actively seeking instructors for those who are also in the music industry that, have successes that they can share and knowledge that they can share with the girls. We have our masterclass series, which we're always taking presenters in for that. Like I said, we've had a pretty awesome team of presenters recently, and we're planning on continuing to keep that going. And then also donating. Again, most of our efforts are for girls, but we specifically are very passionate about creating opportunities for girls in underserved communities that otherwise would not be able to afford opportunities like this. So scholarships are a big thing on how we operate, and those are made possible by the kindness of donations and sponsorship support and corporate support. So those are also ways that people can get involved and can donate at girlsmakebeats.org/donate.
Amazing. We have this thing we do.
So we're reaching the end of our time here. But if anyone has any last minute questions, or if the hosts, you guys have anything you want to add before we check out here?
Let's see if we got anything, any last minute questions or anything.
Got some debates in the chat going on. It's like two different debates right now.
What's going on? I'm trying to look at my other screen.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out too.
Okay,
saying there's men that can't do a man's job. There's women that can do a man's job. Let's be real.
Yep.
Some of the toughest people I know are women.
Facts.
The toughest people I know.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't let the face spook you.
Exactly. Mentally, physically, it don't even matter. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you guys a funny story. I'm a former collegiate football player and NFL washout. I ain't no cap over here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be like, yeah, I made a Pro Bowl. No, I got cut. I got cut a lot. So soon as I could get rid of this off the screen. Keep over here. What's going on here? So, there we go. I'm back. So, yeah, we will be in the weight room. And, you know how in the college weight rooms, especially where the athletes lift it and all of that, we have like this wall of fame with everybody. I think to this day I might still be up there for the bench press. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've been there. So one of the young bulls probably took my name down off the wall, and it's cool. But one of the hardest things to do as a weightlifter is you know, a lot of people call them hang cleans or power cleans or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And for years, one of the best people on the campus, and her record had been there for decades, was a woman. A lot of stuff has to do more with technique than brute strength.
Man, strategy and technique.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So a lot of stuff that we feel like, where physically a man is more capable, yeah, it's in certain regards, but technique goes such a long way. Like, I would try to beat her numbers and I couldn't do it. Her technique was so pristine that, you know, like even the strength coaches would be like, she would come in here and embarrass the guys on, you know, during the squats, during the cleans, sometimes even, you know, during bench and stuff. She was strong as shit. You know what I'm saying? She still holds all the records for shot put and track and field, all that good stuff, man. And I'm like, yo, her technique was so good, like nobody could match her, yo. And I'm like, hey, it's not always about brute strength. You know what I'm saying? So
terrible, Will. It's terrible. No.
It ain't always about brute strength, man. Like, and you know, it just goes to say though that like it's more important that you refine your technique in everything that you do. You know what I'm saying? And that even goes towards producing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's an arena where physicality has nothing to do with creativity. Mm-hmm. So, you know, there may be an instance where you're in the room and the woman in the room is the superior musician or engineer, or, you know what I'm saying? So it's more so about, I think, interest. You know what I'm saying? Like and it goes back to the thing I was saying about awareness. If we're, you know, teaching more girls that, hey, this is a viable market for you, you guys should, you know, not, you know, say, I'm not going to do that to, you know, guys dominate that. Nah, if we're showing more examples of women being successful and, you know, women reaching out and pulling more women in, and men as well, it's our duty to do that as well, then more women are going to be like, hey, this is something that, you know, I was always interested in, but maybe I didn't think I could do it just because of the climate. You know what I mean? So,
man, the climate's everything. I've been around, you guys know, all men doing this 24/7, but it makes you as a woman take on a very masculine approach to things when you're surrounded by men because you have to. Well, I thought you had to. So I had to learn that, no, like, even though I felt that way, I don't have to carry that weight with me or carry that attitude or whatever. I don't have to be the loudest in the room over men. I can still be who I am, what I am, and actually, because, you know, use my feminine powers for it. But it kind of made me shift a little bit. Like, I felt like I had to be hard all the time. I mean, I got a little side of that, but you know, for years, and I know, Will, you know, like, we've had those talks, you know, about that. But I run into a lot of women that felt that way too. And I'm like, nah. So when I step back into my full creative mode and I start to do other things that are more feminine, it actually comes out in my music. And you hear a way fuller sound. I don't sound like I'm holding back anything. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like I was holding back so much
before it was just that mentality. So it's like, nah, you can be who you are. You can do what you want to do, you know, and still be in that environment and climate. Don't let that energy affect you or people affect you. You know what I'm saying? So just demand respect. That's it.
Facts.
Yeah, all three of you have said before, like, whatever it is, you know, don't let any of those types of things hold you back from doing your own unique sound and like making your own lane. Because then that's what people like. You have what no one else has.
Mm-hmm.
So
nobody can be youer than you, just like Dr. Seuss said.
That's real, man.
OG.
Be yourself.
All right. Any last words or anything we want to share? We're gonna share first the podcast. Make sure you go subscribe, smash that subscribe button, smash that review button, 5 stars. Check us out. And then the second thing we're about to share, if you want to keep up with the gang, is the IG. So definitely smash the follow button there as well. I'm about to say that right now.
Yes, y'all. Please follow us at Beat the Block Pod. It's in the chat right here.
Just did it.
Yeah. Make sure y'all tap in with the bro trucks.
I'm streaming tonight.
Yeah, on Twitch.
I got to make up some hours, so I'm streaming tonight. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to post the link right now.
Yeah. Make sure you follow Candy right there on the Twitch, and follow my Twitch at illbrown_.
Did we hit the number yet, Candy?
I haven't, but I'm just gonna start without hitting the number. I heard that that's actually how you hit the number. So, so I'm gonna start. I just, you know, I've been overwhelmed a little bit, but it's coming. So I'll let you guys know. Probably, our last stream will be in a couple of weeks before we take a little break. So then I'll definitely start to jump in and we can interact as a community and get some real things popping. So I'll keep you guys attuned. My schedule's just been a little crazy.
100%. All right. Without further ado, I think that's our time. Will, you want to sign us off here?
You want to do the honors?
Yes, sir, man. And as usual, I am your friendly neighborhood podcast host, Ill Brown.
And I'm your favorite bearded person, Frox.
And this is your girl, Candy.
This is a nightmare on Beach Street.
Draco on.
I don't have any. I have weapons of mass destruction. I do got them hands.
She just got them hands, man. And we don't want any of the smoketh.
All right, y'all. See y'all next week. Peace. Thanks for tuning in.
Peace.
Peace.